Okay, no more alcohol for me today. But anyway, welcome to episode, let me check real quick. I think it's 46. Let's see. Episode 46 of How to Play Like a WoP Pro. Today I'm going to show you another replay on the same side of the same map. What's it called again? Anykeyyevka. So I'm going to show you again how to play this map from the same side. So if you kind of feel like you got enough out of how to play light tanks on this map from the last video, then you can skip this one, but I'm sure there will be some useful tips in this one as well. So let me quick talk to you about the equipment I use on my EBR. So I like to have two loadouts. This is my first loadout: rammer, vents, optics, vents. Vents directive. The reason why I use Vents directive over Optics directive is because Vents directive gives you plus 5 view range, Optics directive gives you plus 10 view range. So you get 50% of the benefit of the Optics directive in terms of view range, but then you also get better reload, better everything really. So better fully aimed accuracy, just everything. So I prefer Vents directive for that reason, but if you have like bounty optics instead of bond optics, then I could understand why you would want to use optics directive. But in terms of my other loadout, it's extremely important that you have a loadout with commander's vision system as well. So for my other loadout, I use vents, optics, and commander's vision system. You could also use low noise exhaust over vents, but personally I don't think it's as good for random battles unless you're playing on a map like Malinovka or Prokhorovka. But I only bring my CVS loadout on maps where I have to spot through bushes. So that includes like from close range, like from 200 meters or less range. So that includes Prok, Malinovka, Murovanka, and Pilsen basically. Those are the main four. I can't think of any others that I would use it on. I mean, there probably are a couple others, but yeah, that's what I decided to use. Now, what's different about this matchup compared to the one that was shown in the last video? Well, this one is tier 8, so I can get away with getting closer to the enemies before they'll spot me, and all sorts of things. Now, I still decided to play middle. I'm basically playing, I think this was the same spot that I used last time. Oh wait, I was on the other side last time. Okay, yeah. Never mind, I was confused. I'm on the opposite side that it was last time, but the gameplay is essentially the same. There's two extremely standard bushes here, one on this side, one on this side. You can also use this one from the other side, but I don't think it's as good as this one because there's not a little ridge you can escape down to. If a light tank proxies you, you're probably going to take some damage. So I take this bush. Now pay attention, I have HE loaded first. Now why do I load HE right away? It's because damage on the enemy light tank, whenever you're playing a light tank, basically, damage on the enemy light tank is the most important thing that you can do at the start of the battle. And so I loaded HE in case I spotted their EBR trying to do a run here or something. Unfortunately, it backfires on me, and I don't pen the Concept 1B. I probably should have just intuitioned APCR, but it's not a big deal, really. Now here, I realize that I'm only going to get spotted. I'm not going to get spotted if I'm in the open, unless a light tank spots me by coming close. So I don't really mind running the ridge like that, because I know I'm not going to get hit unless the light tank spots me, but now that the light tank spots me, I just stay mostly below the ridge. But here's what I was talking about with this bush being a problem. This whole area is basically flat, so you can't escape this way. And if you try to escape this way, as you can see, you're kind of in the open for like two seconds here. So anybody back on this ridge here will shoot you. So that's why I highly recommend going to this low bush rather than this high bush on this map. But now I'm pretty sure that I'm unspotted, so I decided to poke. I find a shot onto the Surf K, but I don't have gun depression to hit him. And I'm just making sure that I'm unlit before I poke up. And now I know I'm unlit, so I go for a shot on the Brask with HE. Now the confusing thing is why their EBR is up here. I'm not really sure why he is. But I'd love to get some damage on him, but for now he's basically a non-factor. He doesn't spot me because there's all these buildings in the way. So unless he decides to YOLO down here, he's not really a threat. But I keep running this ridge, trying to get any spots on people crossing up here, maybe in these bushes or this fosh over here. And there's some of the spotting damage you can get. Our grill had a shot on this cross here, and that's the general theme of these maps, is the TDs that sit in these kind of positions will usually have shots on the medium flank as they progress up it. But a lot of their tanks have already gone up the medium flank, and they've gotten away with it for basically free. Or at least they haven't taken too much damage from my spotting. But I can still deal damage here because I'm not spotted right now. That was a bad shot. I shouldn't have even taken that shot. But I notice I get spotted. I'm assuming it's from one of these bushes here. But who knows? It could be from basically anywhere. So now I have to get unspotted again. Now their M4190 is dead right now. And their EBR is over here. So this is where opportunities can open up for you in a light tank after the other light tanks are dealt with, or if they're just nowhere close to you. Then you can sometimes start to progress, and that's what I do here. I'm using this rock as cover, and I'm getting shots on all the people here, getting a different angle, getting a little bit closer so it's easier to just spot them. And the reason I'm able to get away with this is because my team has already pushed through the city. And so I'm not really worried about anybody coming to the edge of the city and spotting me and shooting me. So I can easily get away with this. I kind of miscalculate there and I take a shot from the EBR, but it's not a big deal. I still have 900 HP. I want to get unspotted before I poke this bush here. And I'd really like to kill the EBR. And if you notice here, I load HE so that I can take him out in one shot. But he gets into cover, so I'm not able to hit him. But they have a Barask. And I'm hoping that he'll back up so I can shoot him. That's exactly what happens, so I get 500 damage off. Now I'm not going to make the same mistake where I overpoke here and get shot by their EBR, so... But when you're re-poking the same bush over and over again, you want to be a little bit careful. So they could easily blind shot me here. I'm not too worried about it because I'm not a one-shot. But one trick that you can do when you're re-poking the same bush over and over again is just poke out real quick, see if you spot something, then pull back, and then just repeat over and over. Instead of just sitting in the bush doing nothing. Now I don't really expect them to blind shot me because first of all this is tier 8 game, so it's unlikely they're even going to be paying attention to me because, you know, tier 8 players are just worse in general than tier 10 players. But also the rest of their team seems kind of preoccupied with getting surrounded and all, so I don't really worry about it too much. But in other situations it can be the fact that it can be true that you need to be careful of re-poking the same bush over and over again. Now here, I just shouldn't have taken that shot. I don't know what I was thinking, to be honest. But I should be unlit now, so... I shoot that guy. I realize that this A phase 1 can kill me. This was probably a mistake, actually. Okay, this was almost 100% a mistake. I should not have shot this guy right away. I was angled like this. I should have turned like this first and then pulled back over here, shot him, and then in turbo mode gone forward to get safe. That's what I should have done. But I get lucky in this A phase 1. Either he doesn't reload in time to shoot me or he just doesn't manage to click in time. So I get kind of lucky there. That was probably a mistake. But even if he does hit me, I still would be a one-shot, so I wouldn't die, which is the most important thing. Keeping yourself alive is the most important thing, especially in a light tank. Because a heavy tank, if a heavy tank is one shot, how do heavy tanks mostly get their damage? They get it by brawling. And when you're brawling, it's really hard not to take damage in return, at least occasionally. But in a light tank, you can just stay unspotted for the remainder of the game if you go down to one shot. And so it's not the end of the world. The problem is, a lot of the time you'll just make a mistake, and even though you're on one shot and you were just fine and chilling, you just made a mistake, so you end up dying. But yeah, here you're gonna witness some terrible shooting. I just aim really bad. I think I missed like 4 shots or something. It's god awful, trust me. I mean, I do get a little bit unlucky from RNG as well, but I think that was RNG. I think I aimed that fine, but definitely not the best aiming in the world here. But yeah, coming to this position, I don't know exactly how to explain it. It just felt like the natural progression here because I can stay safe from this side. We have a guy here who will cover me if they push up, and I'll get easy back shots into them, so that's why I went here. Now I want to get unspotted before I poke next because I don't want them to be aiming at me. But I get proxied by the Concept 1B, and I try to get safe from this guy. This is kind of stupid what I'm doing, to be honest. I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, I guess I can take a shot, so there's that, but I don't know, that was kind of stupid of me. I don't know what I was thinking, to be honest. I want to stay out of the spotting circle of the Concept 1B, so that when the patent comes around the corner, he doesn't know exactly where I am. He doesn't know if I'm here, if I'm here, if I'm here. So he doesn't get an easy snapshot of me. So he has to spot me himself. The Concept 1B won't perma-spot me, so he won't be prepared for exactly where I am. And there you saw me come out into the open a little bit. You might wonder why I did that. I did that to try to bait him into poking because I was just going to pull forward and then shoot him and then get into cover. Didn't work, but it was worth a try. Now I make a mistake. I don't actually consider this much of a mistake, to be honest, because I was very much not thinking that this guy would be turned and aimed at me. But I was going for an HE shot on this Concept 1B, and as you can see, they only have 2,000 HP left, so this would have been a quarter of the remaining health. So I thought it was worth taking the risk. But it turns out this guy was turned and pre-aimed on me, so I end up dying. I think taking this risk was probably fine. I don't think it was a huge mistake, or maybe not even a mistake at all, because they didn't have much HP left, so I kind of had to get involved in the fight soon. But either way, it means that I end up missing out on probably 2 shots, maybe 3 shots, which is pretty unfortunate. But yeah, now this game is actually kind of close, as you'll see, but we end up winning it. So yeah, let me look for the post-game stats real quick. I think this is it. Let me real double check if this is the right one. Yeah, I think this is the right one. Hold on. Here we go. Here are the post-game stats. Pretty epic game. 10k combined, 5.2k damage, 1 kill, and 4,800 spotting. Like I said, these maps are not bad at all for light tanks. They're no Prokhorovka or Malinovka, but you can have some really fun games on these maps, especially in an EBR, but other light tanks I'm sure work well too, just not quite as good as the EBR, because the EBR can react very quickly and escape from the the scouting position if he gets YOLO'd by lights. You can't really do that with other lights. You'll just get chased down and killed if you get YOLO'd. But yeah, that's basically all for now. The next video will also be a Recon map. But what I'm trying to do with this Recon series, I'm trying to give my opinion about the map and like how I think it plays out and whatnot. But I'm also trying to give tips and whatnot along the way. So if you're only here for the tips or whatever, I still think it's worth watching for most players, unless you're like 5K18, in which case why are you even watching my videos? But yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys later.